Welcome to Fraser Mac Gaming, I'm Fraser Mac. Yes, the Direct has happened. Last night, the Direct actually happened. So it was around 10 o'clock UK time, and it was obviously different times across the world. This video is going to be very different from my usual videos, and it's very much an ad-lib, unscripted reaction to what happened last night. If you have not seen the Direct yet, do not watch this video. Do not pass go. Check out the links in the top right of the corner now, and you can see what I predicted or what the rumours were telling us before the event, what was expected to happen, and you can compare notes afterwards and watch this video, and I do not want to spoil your excitement. So, moving on, now we've lost those two whole people who haven't seen the Direct yet, my reaction. So yes, the Direct came straight out swinging hard and heavy and hitting the ball right out of the park. So KingsL must have been sat there, wherever they were, whoever they are, rubbing their hands together with glee. Because yes, Super Mario Maker 2 came straight out the bat, no introduction, here it is. We have new functions, we have new skins, we have new styles. There's Super Mario World, there's Mario 3D World, the cat suit. There are all sorts of things you can now slide. There's so much new stuff. I've not even caught it all yet. I actually ended up being up most of the night. I've been up since around 3 a.m. I have a little daughter who woke up in the middle of the night, woke me up. I tried to go back to sleep after watching the Direct. I couldn't for some reason. I don't know if it was excitement or just being awake because of noise in the house. I couldn't go back to sleep, and actually I was thinking about the eShop, the games that were actually already available, which is something I'll talk about later. Ended up downloading them and trying some of them. So I've basically been up for a long time. 3 a.m. is not a time I'm usually awake for long, but basically I'm going to charge on. So Super Mario Maker 2 looked fantastic, really exciting, and the brilliant thing, all these games, a lot of these games had release dates that completely took us by surprise. So June 2019 is when Super Mario Maker 2 is coming out. It was a huge start for the Direct. Absolutely huge. As soon as you start with something like that, you know this is good. And I was worried it was almost like a 400 metre sprinter has just gone out flat in the first 100. I thought this could either start fantastically and peter out and then have a big finish, or this could be the big thing for the whole thing. But KingsL was proven right. Super Mario Maker 2 looks fantastic. Can't wait to play that. Hills, Super Mario World, Mario 3D World, all sorts of good stuff there. And I'll be able to look this in a more logical way going forward. But after that, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Now, getting a Marvel game is fantastic. The characters, so much good stuff you can do with it. I'm not entirely sure about the art style, but the hack and slash kind of Hyrule Warriors type gameplay, hack and slash stuff. I like action games. It's got RPG elements. It's got all the characters. It's got so many people you can play as. It seemed like there's just so much depth to this. It almost seems like they've incorporated Smash type language and gameplay, but it's coming summer 2019, so a lot to look forward to. They obviously talked about Captain Marvel's going to be in it. It did also say, slightly disappointingly, it's almost like a launch exclusive, which implies it's a timed exclusive, so maybe not the completely exclusive game on the Switch, but we're getting it first. That's all that matters. There's just so much in it that actually it's probably not the game I was most hyped for, but it was a strong start. And KingsL once again, Box Boy and Box Girl came up next. KingsL's basically got two games straight away that they've predicted. It's not something I'm really that familiar with. It looks like if you like puzzle games, it's probably a good time. Not really for me. So I wouldn't really say there's much wrong with this Direct. There are games that some people enjoy, some people really are aiming for. They're trying to cater for everyone. There was just so many games. I counted, they covered 29 games in total, not all new games. Some of these games just had DLC, some of these games it was they're in development, but 29 games in total. Some of them we already knew about, but a lot of these were new. We either didn't know about them at all, we didn't have release dates. There was just so much new stuff. There was so many games. I keep forgetting everything that's been through. I've written it all down though. I've got a general idea. This is just real initial reactions. So for me, Box Boy and Box Girl was not the star of the show. It will please some people, but it's not for me. Smash Bros. It's good to have something there. I've actually only just got it myself. I'm really enjoying it so far. But it took up so much of 2018. I think we know it's out. It's cool. There's other stuff coming for it. I'm going to enjoy playing it. Lots of millions of people will enjoy playing it and buying it this year as well, I'm sure. But there's been so much Smash. I'm just glad that there was just so much other stuff in it. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. So DLC, I'll move on to that. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Obviously a fun little puzzle game. There was a lot of people talked about it. I bought it. I've not even had a chance to play it yet. I've got so many games. It didn't have 2-player actual local co-op in a really traditional way. So it missed out on that. People criticised it being a little bit short and repetitive. They have added 18 new challenges, and what I'll say is it's paid DLC, but you can get a special edition level, it seemed like. But there was 5 new courses, I believe, so I'm hoping that adds a fair amount of depth. But that's March 14th, 2019, and the special episode, is available now. So there was a lot available straight after the Direct, or at the time, which was great. Also, other DLC that came. Starlink got DLC. I thought there'd be DLC, and I thought maybe Mario Party, trying to build on that and keep it going, keep the online kind of element, improve that, new boards. It didn't appear. It might do in the future. It sold well, but it seems like they've tried to boost some games that were maybe underselling or slightly below those top tier AAA games that Nintendo produced. Obviously, Starlink was a collaboration between Ubisoft and Nintendo, but a great game that just didn't sell well, and I think that's a lot to do with the price it was listed as a pre-order and the Toys to Life. People didn't understand you don't have to use any of that, but it kind of mixed up the message of who it was for and what type of game it was. I played it at a Nintendo event, and it was amazing. I played it last year. As soon as I played it, I thought, fantastic, Star Fox game, this is brilliant, I love it. But it was all marketed almost as a Toys to Life game, attracting young kids, but actually it was more complex and it's probably more for adult people. You know, there was a lot of mixed messages with it, but there's a lot of good content. All of Star Fox's friends, lieutenants, are involved now. There's even going to be a racing element, which sounds cool. So that and Captain Toad, just adding to 2 games I've already got that I've not played that much of yet. So fantastic. The big things after that, there were some indie games. I thought there'd be a couple. Stupidly, obviously, I thought Wargroove initially and SteamWorld might be in it. They got revealed in indie highlights. And then I was going to say Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, because it's a Castlevania, spiritual successor and such a big name. I thought it might make it in, and then I didn't put it in my predictions, which is stupid. As soon as it came up, I was really excited. I also thought there might be some Shovel Knight treasure trove in terms of the King of Cards content, because it's coming out in April. That didn't show up. It probably doesn't need to. But Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, wow, I was a bit concerned off of some of the footage I'd seen already. I knew the people involved were fantastic. The idea would be brilliant. I wasn't convinced with some of what I'd seen so far. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon was brilliant. And then what I've seen now, the mix of almost kind of 2.5D, the variety in the gameplay, the kind of spiraling staircases, there's a mixture of content. It looks brilliant. I'm really excited. That is going to be a great game. So Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, that's coming summer 2019, so not specific, but it's coming soon. It's coming in a matter of months. There was just so much variety, and to be honest, there's a lot of JRPG or games that have maybe been real big sellers in Japan and maybe not translated in the West all the time. There's a core of fans in the West who love a lot of JRPGs, but they're maybe not typically the big market for them. So Square Enix, I expected a lot from them. They've done so much with the Switch. They've done so well. They've had so many projects that are almost here. We just didn't quite have release dates for, and the Direct was a perfect place for it. And they delivered. So there was so much Square Enix stuff. It will take me a long time to chat through this, but really quick. Dragon Quest. I need to even try to remember the name. So Dragon Quest XIS, and I know there was other stuff like Deluxeist Edition or something. Don't quote me on this, I'm joking, but It looked brilliant. I've not played the Dragon Quest games. I've played Dragon Quest Builders, which I know it's completely different. But Dragon Quest, to me, it just looked like a brilliant fantasy kind of anime adventure version of Red Dead with RPG elements. Now, I don't really want to throw in Red Dead because it's completely different style, but they're just the open world, almost like Breath of the Wild. You know, the horse races, it looks like, and adventure. You know, the artwork, the style looks brilliant. You know, the backgrounds, it's more a sort of fantasy adventure, but obviously they've got the retro 16-bit elements as well. It looks like a game you could literally spend a year playing and maybe not discover everything that's in there. You could sink a lot of time into it. I'm slightly worried that I could spend forever in that and Dragon Quest Builders 2 and never play anything else in 2019. But Dragon Quest Builders 2, I'm really excited for. I've seen a lot of the trailers already. It looks like they've taken what was a really cool new idea and then they've just expanded and built and added a really good story element, lots of characters, to Minecraft. So they've made an acceptable version of Minecraft for people like RPG and story elements. And that sounds like me. So Dragon Quest Builders 2, I was really excited for already. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is coming July 12th. And then Dragon Quest XIS is coming fall. So not a specific date, but it's coming this year. We've got a ballpark, and I wasn't expecting it anytime soon anyway. So it's just great to see them. Other content from Square Enix, the makers of I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere, which are two great JRPGs. We got, I think it's Oninaki, and I mean, I'm struggling to remember exactly everything about it, but it had a really dark kind of aesthetic. Look, you know, it sounded like there was almost permadeath for characters. Talked about a really deep single-player campaign, and it's coming summer 2019. Again, there was a lot of those kind of traditional JRPG kind of anime fantasy style worlds and a lot of games. So the big game, obviously from Nintendo, Fire Emblem Three Houses, it was going to be the big focus, and I'm glad. So there was 5 minutes or so of it, and it gave a good idea of what the game's about to try and open it up and introduce it before it comes out. It's not coming out to July, unfortunately, but I'm just glad they'd rather take the extra time and get it right than release it early and it be terrible. Because I've already got a couple of concerns about it. It's not going to put me off. Graphically, it was shown up by Square Enix's games, and I think there's so many games in the Switch now that are either trying different styles, you know, they're mixing up, and we'll talk about other ones like Zelda later. They're trying out different things graphically, and the artwork's so good, even from indie devs, that Fire Emblem Three Houses looked like a last-gen game. So the character animations, they looked a little bit rough around the edges. There was a few glitches you could see if you looked at the characters. It didn't look as tight and as crisp as other games. The story sounded brilliant. I was sucked into it. I've not played Fire Emblem games. I got some to play them and try them out. I've not had a chance yet. I really like the story. I like the idea of the houses, the monastery. You're training up students and leading campaigns. It sounds really immersive. Visually, I do like games that visually draw me in. It didn't look great. It looks like they could do a lot more. I hope they can try and polish that and improve it, but it's mainly about the gameplay and the story. I think it's going to be a big, big game. Nintendo are going to push it, and obviously in Japan it's going to be huge. It'll be huge. The story and all those elements and the depth that they put into the game, the ideas behind it, I think are fantastic. The graphics are the weakest part of it. So hopefully they can try and tidy it up a little bit and improve that before it releases in July. Moving on again, at some point it had to dip. Basically, we had this run of game after game after game of huge hits, big news. There was Box Boy in the middle there, but you know, some people I'm sure will like it. And then some from Bandai Namco came out of nowhere, and I'm sure I know why it's in there. There's a market for it. You know, they need to cater for everyone, but yeah, let's just move past some. The big thing, and these are games I'm not that familiar with, but I know that Direct's there for everyone. So Rune Factory 4 is coming. A lot of people, I'm sure, are really excited. I've seen a lot of content on social media where people are like so excited about that. And also they talked about Rune Factory 5 development starting. Rune Factory 4 is almost like a new version. It's coming later this year. It doesn't look like it's for me. Again, I'm sure it's a good game. It's just not for me. A game I'm really excited for, and I will admit I've actually played the demo already. played through the first level, and it is slightly childish. It didn't seem that challenging, but Yoshi's Crafted World, they introduced new elements. I love the paper style of it. So Woolly World's nice and creative. The paper, kind of almost like theatre style. The art style and the backgrounds and the worlds, they just look great. It just made me smile. It's the kind of game, if you're stressed or if you want to play with, a young child or your cousin or your nephew or niece, you could just have a really fun time. It's not too challenging. It's charming. The music's lovely. Yoshi's cool, and it's just go around, collect things, look at the world. You go on little trains. There was planes. There was actually some boss battles, so it looks like it might get more challenging. They had 2 difficulty levels. There was a classic mode that I think was supposed to be more challenging. I played on that. Again, it seemed Kirby level challenging, so I don't know what will happen later. And another version that I think was more aimed at, younger gamers or people who are not that familiar, just want a casual time. But I'm going to get Yoshi. It's not my typical fare. I've always loved Yoshi. I think it'll be fun. It looks great. I think they've got some interesting mechanics, lots of collecting things and vehicles and stuff, and you can get new costumes that help you through the levels, and it just looks like a nice, fun, creative time. They obviously talked about Tetris 99, that kind of came out of nowhere as well, so that's on the Switch Online. So I thought there'd be Switch Online content. I had a bit of a gamble and thought there might be some Game Boy or SNES stuff at some point in this Direct, or maybe in the future. We got quite a few NES games. We've got Super Mario Bros. 2 and Kirby's Adventure just before the Direct. Tetris 99 is free. It was available there and then. I've seen some people utterly addicted to it already. I'm just going to avoid it. I've downloaded it, but I could lose lots of time playing it. A couple of lower lights for me. Dead by Daylight. It's great to see the variety, in the real horror, more mature type game on a Switch. It's not something I'm that familiar with. It's not something I'll probably check out. The graphical style seemed a bit old-fashioned, sort of PS2 type. It's fall 2019. It's not a game for me, but I'm sure there's some people that'll be really interested in Dead by Daylight. Again, I'll give it a miss. Straight away when I saw the graphical style for Deltarune Chapter 1, I didn't know this was coming. I didn't know Toby Fox was working on something. I mean, Undertale's been out for so long and done so well. He must have been doing something in his time, but I've not really followed it closely. Deltarune Chapter 1, follow-up to kind of Undertale, is coming for free 28th of Feb, which is great, and you can actually pre-order it and stuff like that. There's then going to be further chapters, which are not free, obviously, but again, it seems to be following the simplistic art style. There is, a lot of jokes about a dog. He's got brilliant sense of humour and writing and things like that, which is why Undertale did so well, so that's quite a big thing, and that came out of nowhere. I had no idea that was even a thing. Obviously, Daemon X Machina, a game we already know about, so I'm really excited about that. And obviously, there's the prototype missions. I've already downloaded it. It's available. They want to get feedback before it comes out 2019, and they're saying summer 2019. I was hoping it would have a date by now, but there's just so many games coming out, and more summer really. Summer seems really heavy with games. So June, July, August, there's lots, and then there's a lot, April, March coming up as well. So that I'm excited for. I've not tried it yet, but it looks cool. They want to get more feedback and try and improve it. I'm excited about that. Grid Autosport, again, that's one for me. I think there was so much competition. It looks like it's a good game. There's not many realistic racers on the Switch, so there's going to be people who really enjoy it. It actually looked really cool. If you're into racing games, realistic racing games, I'm not. So it's not really one for me. One I was really excited about, well, a couple actually, and these are probably smaller, more like indie games. So Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice looks gorgeous. It sounds like it's got a really intense, dark storyline. If they can recreate the quality that is graphically on other systems on the Switch, if someone can port that well and get it to run well and look that good on my Switch, I will be in love. That game looks amazing. The whole storyline, the idea that the main character is kind of in a stage of psychosis and how they portray that and things. It looks amazing, and it's supposed to be pretty dark. That's spring 2019, so it's not far away. It's got to be coming soon. Unravel 2, another game again. A lot of people talk really highly about the Unravel games. I've not played any of them. People keep talking about them. I've seen a lot of hints that they might come to Switch at some point, so I'm really excited to play them. Obviously, just Unravel 2 is coming, but it's March 22nd. It's not far away. It's just a few weeks away. I will admit, Mortal Kombat, Assassin's Creed, I played a lot of them through the years. I've not played Assassin's Creed or Mortal Kombat for a while now. So we knew Mortal Kombat 11 was coming, but confirmation, April 23rd, it is coming. That's brilliant. It's already available for pre-order, etc. The artwork looks amazing. It's really brutal. They've gone right to town on the blood, the gore, the finishing moves. It's amazing. It's on a Nintendo system, and I think that's going to sell by the shed loads. Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, we are getting it. That was rumoured. It was talked about a lot. It was leaked. All sorts of people were predicting it. It is happening. Liberation Remastered as well, and all the DLC. Assassin's Creed 3, I'm not really played much of it. People say other games are maybe better. Assassin's Creed 2 was like my peak Assassin's Creed moment. So I'll probably try it. It's already up for pre-order, so I'm glad it's coming. Hopefully there'll be some more Assassin's Creed games before the Switch's life cycle's over. There's a few more games now. They're going to be massive for people. Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy 7 coming in March. Final Fantasy 9 later that day. Obviously it's out now. And Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon. They're not games I'm familiar with. RPGs and JRPGs, they can take so much time. I know some of these are classic ones, but I've sort of trying to contain how many games I commit to at one point, so other people know them, be more familiar. They're not ones for me. There was a couple of huge games to finish. Astral Chain came out of nowhere. Platinum Games has said they've got a huge year. They're really excited how we're going to react. We're all thinking Wonderful 101 port and Bayonetta 3. All of a sudden we get this new IP that's like a cyberpunk Akira anime hack and slash action game that looks like it should never ever be on a Nintendo Switch. It was just intense. I love action games, I love fighting games. It just looked insane. There was like robot dogs and these special weapons like sword like things and all this stuff. Sort of seemed like there'll be a lot of co-op in it. I mean, Astral Chain from Platinum Games looked amazing. 30th of August 2019 as well. Where does it come from? But I was so hyped when that came up. I was just looking at it thinking, what is this? What is this? When's it coming out? It's got a very particular art style, similar to a lot of the other ones we had in the Direct. Looked amazing. Can't wait. Can't wait for that. And then the big finish. Now, I didn't play Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, but obviously King Zell again predicted 2D Zelda game. There was a lot of hints about it in the press. You can never ever commit to rumours because most of them are wrong, but King Zell, to be fair, is called the big games. Now, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, I think, blew most people's minds. It's a classic game, lots of people love it. It's coming 2019. They're going to add some elements to try and bulk out the game. They're probably going to charge the full price for it. It is a Zelda game. It's coming 2019, so it's probably going to be coming later in the year. It could be around that holiday period. You've got a Pokemon game in November. That could be a big Christmas game. It could sell systems. It's got Zelda's name on it. The art style is quirky. It's quite shiny, sort of 2.5D. Got the top-down look. It looked great. I've heard some people question, does Link actually look like Link? Looks a little bit childish. It looked like there was great depth and detail and textures, and it just looked like a fantastic game. I'm crying out for 2D games. I love 2D games, so that was amazing. In my mind, overall, that Direct was insane. I knew that Nintendo were under a bit of pressure. They'd left a bit of room with Smash, because that is a huge game for them. They were chasing 20 million units sold. They say they're not going to quite make that now. Metroid Prime 4 being delayed, restarted, it killed everyone. Everyone's devastated, but we understand. But they were under pressure. We'd had no Direct for months. They needed to come out big. Last year was only a mini, and they delivered. So I talked to 29 games covered, lots of new games, lots of stuff we had no idea was coming. As far as I can tell, no like Nintendo ports, like Wii U ports. There's some DLC, for Captain Toad support, but there was no spreading it out or filling it out with filler games, charging us what would be the full price for a game people already have played. It was lots of new stuff, lots of exciting stuff, lots of variety. I know Animal Crossing fans are going to be really disappointed. A lot of people are expecting it. I think they should be excited though, because what it could mean, it's the big game for E3. Now, Animal Crossing can't carry E3, maybe not, but what it could be is it gets introduced in spring in the next Direct in a couple of months. There's then even more E3, they build hype. It's Base.com said it's supposed to come out in September. That would make sense. We didn't get Luigi's Mansion 3. Again, I think that's cool that there was talk of it coming out in July. It might be one of those games, they didn't even cover that. So Luigi's Mansion 3 or Animal Crossing, so it means we've got that to look forward to now. There's just so many games coming out. Obviously Pokemon wasn't covered. KingsIsle said it would be, or it would be covered soon. I think Game Freak are going to drop that. That could be the E3 game. That could be what the main focus is for E3. Obviously more Zelda, A Link's Awakening, that could be obviously a big part of it as well. It could be a huge event for Nintendo. Without obviously Sony being there, there's talk that Xbox might not be there. They could just run the show. That direct to E3 time could be all Nintendo coverage. Obviously the other thing, no 3DS, which was good. The 3DS is a great little system. I bought a couple recently in the last year and got a lot of games. It's great to look back on it. But the Switch has just gone so far beyond it now. The big one that was predicted that didn't show up and would have been another port, Pikmin 3. No idea what's happening with Pikmin now. A lot of fans are very, agitated about the state of Pikmin and is Pikmin 4 coming or not. Now there's not been a port, there's a chance Pikmin 4 might come. And who knows what else Nintendo have got for us. There's just so much stuff that could be coming down the line that they've not even told us about yet. I struggle to think that there could be many more surprises in 2019 after everything they've showed us, but release dates, what's going to be the big Christmas game, Link's Awakening, you think it should be because it's Zelda, but they could have something else up their sleeve. That could be a fall game, and there could be a real big game we've not even thought about yet. Obviously Bayonetta 3, we didn't get anything really, they mentioned it. They're teasing us. We still haven't seen gameplay. We don't know when it's coming. If they've been spending all this time on Astral Chain, where is Bayonetta 3? It could be 2020 now. I think if they're mentioning it, it's maybe that it could then come later in the year. So all in all, just a crazy direct. Just so many games. I was so hyped. It blew my mind. I've seen people get so excited before directs and get let down. Their expectations are so high. I think expectations were high in this, but Nintendo just completely surprised us. And I think they knew with Metroid Prime 4 being delayed and restarted, they needed to really hit the ground and set the scene for 2019. Because now PS4 is winding down, Xbox is winding down. This is their time to strike, and they delivered. So 2019 looks like it's going to be amazing for the Switch. My wallet is hurting. I'm considering getting a second job. Anything. I'm going to have to sell some stuff. There's just so many games I want to play, and I can't even think of putting them in an order. That is a wild rant. It's definitely like a fanboy splurge of my brain. I've not even had a chance to collect my thoughts. If this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications if you liked it. If there's anything you thought about the Direct, I'd love to hear it. I think it's universally been pretty positive, the reaction. I think Animal Crossing fans, etc. are maybe disappointed, but there's so much more of the year to come. It could be coming in a couple of months, a tease on a release date or gameplay. Be patient. But if you liked the video, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Tell me in the comments down below what you thought, and I'll see you on the next video.